I finished this book last week and I just can't stop thinking about it. I guess that's how you know a book is good. I'm going to give you guys an overview of the book and then we're going to go deeper and see why this book is so unique and how it applies to today's world, even if it was written in 1890. So it's by Oscar Wilde. He was born in 1854 and he's most well known for this book, A Picture of Dorian Gray. It ended up being the only novel he published. So I'm going to give you a quick overview of the story, and you guys are going to understand how the story is still very relevant and how there are not very many stories like it, honestly. So it starts off with a young man named Dorian, who is perfect looking, and a painter named Basil. Basil finds Dorian to be the perfect thing to paint, and feels that when he paints him, it makes his art at his best. There's another character named Lord Henry, who's a rich aristocrat and influences Dorian throughout the book. He basically tells Dorian that the only things that matter are his good looks and being young and living a hedonistic lifestyle. And if you don't know, hedonism's the idea that the only thing that matters is pleasure and benefiting yourself. Lord Henry's influence changes Dorian, and when Basil is done painting a portrait of him, he becomes jealous and wishes that he could stay looking young and the painting will take his place in age instead of him. This wish becomes truth, and throughout the story, Dorian checks on the painting, and it becomes more and more ugly and is a mirror of what his soul looks like. Dorian follows Lord Henry's influence and lives only caring about satisfaction, like his looks, and doing things that don't really have any real deeper meaning other than to pleasure him in the short term. He collects things like jewels to show off and starts engaging in drug houses and gets with multiple women. A main plot point and turning point in the story is when he sees Sibyl Vane performing as Juliet in a play. He goes every day and eventually starts dating her, but when he brings his friends along to watch her perform, her acting is terrible. So terrible his friends end up leaving. After the show, Dorian goes backstage to see her and tells her the acting was bad and that he's breaking up with her. Later, she ends up ending her life, and Dorian finds every excuse possible to reason with himself on how her death wasn't his fault, and that he played no part in it. After the influence of Lord Henry, he comes to the conclusion that her death was artistic and she was an actor that didn't live in the real world, so her death therefore wasn't really real and doesn't affect him. After her death, Dorian goes even deeper into his hedonistic ideology, doing things like hosting parties. As the time passes, his painting becomes more and more ugly and rotten, and eventually Basil meets up at Dorian's house. Basil tells Dorian that he should use his luxuries and privileges of being rich, young, and good-looking to help people, instead of being so selfish and only benefiting himself. Dorian gets super annoyed at this and brings him upstairs to see the painting that Basil hasn't seen since the day he painted it all that time ago. Dorian removes the blanket covering, revealing the painting, and Basil is horrified and in shock at what his painting has become. Dorian then takes a knife and kills him, pushing Dorian even further into his hedonistic lifestyle. He uses people and ruins their reputations, and nothing bad ever happens to him. At the end of the book, Dorian is having a mental breakdown and is tired of hiding this painting and wonders why he never destroyed it. He storms upstairs and finds the shiny knife he used to kill Basil with. It has since been cleaned multiple times because of the shame in his murder. Dorian looks at the painting and stabs it with the knife, turning Dorian old just like how the ugly painting looked, and turning the painting young just as it originally was. Now we don't exactly know how he died. It could have been that the painting was linked to his soul, and when he stabbed the painting it also stabbed him, like some sort of voodoo doll. But my favorite theory, when he stabbed the painting and turned old, he saw his reflection in the freshly cleaned knife, saw his ugliness, and stabbed himself. The story has a lot of similarities with our world today, such as quick pleasure with no deeper meaning. We have so many ways to feel good in short bursts, like scrolling TikTok or Instagram Reels, just passively feeling pleasure with no effort, and once we close the app, we've gained nothing from it. There's drinking and other substances, there's sexual pleasures, there's gambling. All these things have no deeper meaning and aren't benefiting you in the long term. Just like how everything Dorian Gray did was for in-the-moment pleasure and nothing more. All these quick fixes are ingrained in our society. Everyone scrolls, everyone drinks, and it's just normal and it's fine and limitation. but if you're basing your whole life on the next time you're gonna get a drink or smoke, it becomes a problem. Nobody really questions it. There are people just like Dorian Gray who live pleasure to pleasure with no deeper meaning, and they are able to get away with it because all these pleasures are just normal to us now, and we do them all to some extent. Dorian wants to stay stuck in the past, always looking young, and thought that that would be the perfect life. But by the end of the book, he says he would rather be living any other life that's not his own. Kind of showing as much as we want to go back to the past, and in our modern day, as much as we romanticize 2016, we can't go back, and maybe that's for the best. Do we really want to be stuck, never progressing, and never learning new lessons? Maybe we don't know what's best for us all the time, and this book kind of gives us a glimpse of what might happen if we could choose everything that happens in our lives. It's not a super hard read, and it's a fairly short book, being 250 pages. I definitely recommend you read the book. There's much more that happens that I didn't talk about in this video, and maybe some things that might stand out to you that I didn't catch. It's a good classic book and a good starting point for reading other classic books. I definitely want to read more, just because they have to be so good and to have survived generations of people. I mean, some of these things are hundreds of years old, and all classics have themes that never really get outdated, themes like war, love, and just human emotions that aren't bound to a specific time period. At least the lesson and moral that you're getting from it aren't. The story is going to be, of course, not set in the modern day. It's just a really unique story, and I haven't read or watched anything else that is similar. If there's something just like it, let me know in the comments, but other than that, I'll see you guys in the next one, and thank you for watching.